And tonight on CBS News.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
Producers have confirmed next season of Love Island will merge with the Hunger Games. Only one couple will survive the new format. Everyone else dies.
Senator Buck Nutley has unveiled his Big Girthy bill, a new proposal meant to rival the Big Beautiful bill. But does size really matter?
The shocking trend of Labubu violation continues as more and more people are finding their dolls' holes stretched wide open and reeking of shame.
If you thought Bigfoot was bad, wait till you meet his gooey cousin. A kumsquatch was just spotted in Dongwood National Forest.
Did you know IKEA has released a home glory hole kit called the Fuke Hole? It includes pre-drilled panels, mounting brackets, and a stain-proof finish. We begin with breaking news out of Massachusetts, where residents are reeling from what scientists are calling a cum-comet impact.
Officials are asking everyone to stay indoors and to wear N95 masks in case of cum aerolization.
We have breaking news. A laser-guided ship missile has just been launched from Rectomopolis, reportedly targeting Taintsylvania.
We're live from the scene where a laser-guided ship missile launched from Rectomopolis has struck Taintsylvania. This just in, a pubnador blankets Taint Louis in a thick bush this evening.
Downtown is completely covered in pubic hair, causing highways to close out of caution.
It's coming right for us. We need to get out of here now. Oh my God, it's taking the houses. A massive gizzard has buried Kamlambus in 2 feet of dong load. Locals blame the lack of preparation on Mayor Linda P. Slurp.
The city of Columbus is reeling today after an unprecedented event. What officials are calling a gizzard has left downtown streets. Customs officials at Orbital Port 69 have seized over 420 stolen jork blades, many still warm and dripping. A magnitude 6.9 queefquake rattled Clamlip Valley this morning, releasing a torrent of pussy farts. The children's reading session of This Little Piggy Got Pegged has been cancelled, with parents saying the book is too anatomically detailed for kids.
Lawmakers remain deadlocked on the Big Beautiful bill, with some saying $10 billion more is needed for fleshlights and robo-cooters for dudes on dry spells.
Los Angeles, because she served her fried chicken instead of a quinoa salad.
Megan Mayonnaise went to the restaurant called The Last Supper, where she claimed she was flabbergasted that they would serve her fried chicken when she in fact ordered a quinoa salad. Ms. Mayonnaise said waitress Sharkeisha Trinity knowingly gave her fried chicken, although Ms. Mayonnaise pleaded that she didn't want to eat any urban food. We have Ms. Mayonnaise along with her attorney, Roger Bangher. Can you explain how you were feeling, Ms. Mayonnaise?
I told Sharkeisha Trinity 300 times, let me speak with your manager. And she just kept twerking, sticking her tongue out and laughing at me.
We have exclusive CCTV footage from the restaurant of Miss Mayonnaise and Sharkeisha's fried chicken confrontation.
Miss Mayonnaise is suing Sharkeisha Trinity for everything she got, which is 3 deadbeat fathers and $100 in unpaid child support.
We need your $80,000 down payment now.
Can I do 6 child support checks, 1 EBT card, 10 Section 8 credits, and 2 Medicaid payments?
We take it all.
Welcome back to White News Network. I'm your host, Kimberly Kumquat. Today, the BFI released documents that claim no special files exist from that one famous island. Wink, wink. BFI director said, quote unquote, although you've seen plenty of known people at that island, no American people, you were just seeing shit. The BFI office also released perfectly edited 24-hour surveillance footage of that jail cell where the main guy in charge was being held. At this point, these guys are playing in our face. Most of you are too blind to see it.
Welcome back, folks, to the White News Network. I'm your host, Tom Blandley, and tonight a white woman is leaving her husband after trying a YN.
HOA President Skylar White told WNN she is filing for divorce because, quote unquote, after trying a YN, you never go back. Her husband, Kevin White, owner of Proud Boys Country Club, says he is devastated by the news and that it is, quote unquote, total malarkey. The divorce hearing is set for July 13th at Cornbread District Family Court. If Mrs. White wins, she will be entitled to half of his shit that she never worked for. Next up, rock star Roger Bangher has already impregnated 3 women on his Fuckfest tour. But first, a word from our sponsor.
Want to do some totally unnecessary shit like mountain jump with a fly suit on? Then head over to whitepeopleshit.com.
Whitepeopleshit.com.
Swim with sharks, it's a blast. Make memories that last.
Whitepeopleshit.com.
All right. Let's do some news, man. MTV News Desk. Yo, what up, Kwame? What up, Universal Black? I see you on the building, man. Let's get going. Man, let's start out with some lefties losing it. Yo, did anybody see Hunter Biden wilding out in his interview? All cracked out? Man, my man sounded like he was high. But let's get a recap of the lefties losing it this week, and then we run into a couple other things. They got the receipts on Obama. They definitely got stuff referred to the DOJ, Epstein files, and a few other things we're going to go over tonight.
It's time for Lefties Losing It. And Hunter Biden, you remember him, the crack-addled whore enthusiast, son of former President Joe Biden, is back and he is angry. He's angry at the lefties who, after years of covering up his father's obvious cognitive decline, dumped him and installed Kamala as their 2024 presidential candidate. And that includes Hollywood actor George Clooney, who penned a New York Times piece calling for Biden to step down after that disastrous debate with President Trump. Well, Hunter, who you'll recall scored an unconditional presidential pardon, sat down for an interview with Channel 5 and he let Clooney have it. The left are turning on each other and it's glorious.
Him and everybody around him. I don't have to be nice. Number one, I agree with Quentin Tarantino. George Clooney is not a actor.
Yo, he up here wilding out like he smoked before he got on here. Osmond Gold just finished the review of the interview. We gonna go through the whole Hunter Biden interview tomorrow with Osmond reacted to it because it should be funny. But let's go through this.
He is I don't know what he is. He's a brand. And by the way, and God bless him. You know what? He supposedly treats his friends really well. You know what I mean? Buys them things. And he's got a really great place in Lake Como. And he's great friends with Barack Obama. You, what do you have to do with anything? Why do I have to listen to you? What right do you have to step on a man who's given 52 years of his life to the service of this country and decide that you, George Clooney, are going to take out?
Wow. Yo, I did not expect him to crash out like this. Yo, all these F-bombs, that's crazy, bro.
Basically a full-page ad in the New York Times to undermine the president at a time in which, by the way, what do people care about the most? Why do you think that the Republicans have an advantage over us? Because they're unified. They will go along with anything. I wasn't asking anybody to go along with anything. I was asking people to go along with this. The most successful administration in my lifetime.
Wow. They're even taking talking points from the Trump administration. That's the Trump administration line. The most, and people have said that about it, the most successful administration in their lifetime. And what do you mean you weren't asking people to go along with anything? You were asking people to go along with your dad being a vegetable, a walking vegetable. He's a walking zucchini.
Wow, he may still be high if he thinks the Biden administration was the most successful administration in his lifetime. And he wasn't done yet.
Thank you. I just said that. Look at you, Rita, on top of things. I just said that.
With George Clooney, and here he admits what we have all suspected, that Clooney was acting on the behest of Barack Obama.
You know what George Clooney did? Because he sat down, I guess, because he was like given the blessing by the Obama team or the Obama people and whoever else, and David Axelrod and whoever the else, is to go, okay.
Yo, who is his handler that they thought this was a good idea, him crashing out? Yo, this is a crash out. Because I haven't seen the whole interview all the way through. They're doing a snippet. I like Lefties Losing It because they piece together all the goofiness for me. But I'm gonna do the full interview tomorrow with Osmond Gold reviewing it. It looks like he reviewed it a couple hours before I went on. Universal Black said that's that good stash Hunter got. Facts. Oh yeah, and rest in peace, Ozzy. I'm actually a Black Sabbath fan and Ozzy Osbourne fan. So yeah. Yeah, man. Hunter off that 80s Dwight girl. Hell yeah. Bro, yeah. Yo, wilding like that, yo, he definitely pinged before he got up on this joint.
Yeah. You know what? We are going to insert our judgment over yours. Me and James Carville, who hasn't run a race in 40 fucking years.
And it's not just George Clooney, James Carville, or Team Obama that Hunter is upset with. CNN's Jake Tapper copped a serve too for that silly little book he wrote about Biden's cognitive decline. It doesn't matter to Hunter that Tapper covered up for his dad for years and only wrote that book after the election.
Yo, what up, Irv? Irvin Reed in the building. What's up? Man, we just doing some news. It's already been funny already. We started off with a clip of Hunter wigging out off the white girl off in his secret stash.
He's now on the enemy list.
Who's Jake Tapper's audience? Jake Tapper?
My mom or something? I don't know.
Well, I don't know.
Yeah.
For real though, I don't even think it's your mom anymore.
No.
By the numbers, what influence does Jake Tapper have over anything? He has the smallest audience on cable news, and beyond that, I think that the book is right now on Amazon that he put out. I mean, his ratings just went to shit after he put the book out. You know, they did a 2-week infomercial for it. I mean, it was such a money grab.
Now, I regret to inform you that Hunter Biden is not just taking pot shots at aging Hollywood types and CNN hacks. He's somehow deluded himself into believing he could take on Trump or the president of El Salvador, Nayib Bukele. Hunter wants to bring back the illegal immigrants, the criminals deported to El Salvador, and is willing to take drastic measures to do so.
Reed, what do you say? Ozzy, Malcolm, Jamal, who's going to be the third? It's always in threes. Yeah, the Malcolm Jamal Warner joint, that's a hurt piece, bro. He was only 52. Yo, bro, a lot of black men dipping out in their 50s, man. Y'all brothers take care of your health and play safe out there, man. That's real rap.
Here's another profanity-laced diatribe, almost like this guy is on something.
I say, you. How are we getting those people back from El Salvador? Because I'll tell you what, if I became president in 2 years from now, or 4 years from now, or 3 years from now, I would pick up the phone and call the president of El Salvador and say, you either send them back or I'm going to invade. It's a crime what they're doing. He's a dictator thug. Okay.
Yo, as wild as this is, I will say this. The Democrats don't understand Trump. They think his authenticity is like an affectation or something. I was saying this to Saul the other day. He's like the working man's billionaire. They don't understand that. And that's because Trump is from old school Queens. He's a New Yorker. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't understand. And like, so I think in part what Hunter is doing, like, as much as I think he's probably a little wigged up, that all this is intentional. Like, they think that like dropping the F-bomb and being like acting, because they think Trump's like unhinged, and he's not. Like, if you're from New York in the 80s, the 90s, early 2000s, you understand like how Trump rolls. Like that's nothing like new. It's Tony Soprano swagger. You feel me? So this might also be in part like him trying to be showing off for the Democratic Party elite, putting on this act like I'm the no nonsense type, blah blah. Because the Democratic male wing of the party is weak and beta and effeminate. Maybe this is a power play also.
Kelly or Trump?
Both. Hunter is going to become president and he's going to invade El Salvador. There you go, Democrats. That's your next election campaign right there. What a sad, broken party. But we shouldn't laugh off Hunter's mad rants because this man had enormous power in the Biden White House. And don't forget, Joe Biden often said...
Yeah, man. The Colbert Show has been canceled courtesy of Trump payout. Hell yeah. I'm glad Colbert's out of here. Colbert used to be funny back in the day, bro. Like during when George W. was president, I used to watch Colbert all the time. He was hilarious. He's just become all Trump deranged and just like a paid talking mouthpiece for the Democratic Party now. He's not even funny anymore. You know who else went woke and stopped being funny? Bill friggin' Burr, but he's married to Akeisha.
Hunter was the smartest man he knew. Seriously. In this lengthy, wide-ranging interview with Channel 5, Hunter denied that cocaine found in the Oval Office was his. And then he gave the audience a helpful lesson in how you make crack. I wish I was kidding.
Yo, that is true. I saw this part of it. Yo, well, here, I'm going to tell you something, though. Hunter from Delaware, Scranton. There's some tough white boys in Scranton. And when Trump says the Biden crime family, he's not BSing. They Irish outfit, like old school Irish mob. So he was really talking about cooking crack, and like, yo, he really knows how to cook crack, bro. Like, he really like a pro. Like, when you hear him breaking it down and like getting into his, like, yo, he's cooked a lot of crack, bro.
Only difference between crack cocaine and cocaine is sodium bicarbonate and water and heat. Literally, that's it.
And those things are pretty much free if you go to like a science store.
This is free. You can go to your neighborhood convenience store.
Oh yeah, look at his eyes. He's high. He's high. Look at his eyes. He's high.
And just get. Anyway, I don't want to tell people how to make crack cocaine, but it literally is a mayonnaise jar of cocaine and baking soda.
He doesn't want to tell you how to make it, but he just did. And he didn't stop there. Apparently, crack isn't that bad. Crack isn't whack. It's better than alcohol, according to Hunter. Listen to this lunacy.
Crack cocaine make you act any differently? No. Is it safe?
Does crack cocaine make you act any differently? Nah. In the 80s, some people just sold to children. You know, that's all.
Than alcohol? Probably. People think of crack as being dirty. It's the exact opposite. When you make crack, what you're doing is you're burning off all the impurities so that it combines with the...
Hey, he talking because he got the money. He was getting the good, pure stuff. Bro, this bro's... Yo, all jokes aside, he's really an expert at cooking crack. Like, that's the part of the interview I saw, and he knows what he's talking about.
Sodium bicarbonate, which makes it smokable. That's all.
Astonishing stuff. Now, let's check in on some lefties running a bar. Not clear if they're just working at this bar or whether they're owners. I'd suggest the former, but that's just a guess. Watch what happens when a Trump supporter comes in to order a drink. Watch how these so-called tolerant, progressive, love is love lefties react.
I have a question.
No, we're not answering
Why?
questions. Get out of the bar.
Why?
Because you're a Trump supporter.
I know, but don't you guys want our money?
No, actually, we don't. Get out of my bar right now. You're not welcome. I'm not f***ing around. Get out of my bar.
Are you serious?
I'm dead serious. Out.
Because I'm wearing a Trump
Yes.
vest. That's wild.
I don't care. Get out.
We can call the police, or you can just leave.
You know this is like discrimination, right?
Oh, boo-hoo! Get out of my bar.
Didn't the left ruin the lives of a Christian baker for much less than that? To Minneapolis now, and remember when Democrat Mayor Jacob Frey dropped to his knees and wept at the coffin of George Floyd as BLM rioters tore apart his city? Well, even that wasn't enough to save him, because the Minnesota Democratic Party has now endorsed Omar Fatah for Minneapolis mayor. The Somali-American state senator is American-born, but his focus is almost entirely on the Somali.
Yeah, did y'all see this in Minneapolis? The Somalian boy, dude that they're nominating, and he's flat out telling his interest is the Somalian community. Like, bruh, as bad as this sound, man, I'm dead ass. Yo, we gotta stop electing these non FBA and these immigrants in the office. I don't even care if they was born here, bro, because it's a subtle takeover of the country. Like, y'all gotta stop electing them to Congress. All this, like, nah, their interest is not. Bro, listen, man, it's crazy as hell. At least when you're electing one of these white boys, we know what we getting. You know what I'm saying? And not saying you should be electing them either. We should be electing FBA black men. Like I said, no Keishas, no, bruh. There's a subtle, a slow takeover of the country going on. And the bottom line is, y'all keep electing them, they're gonna still keep putting the black man at the bottom.
Community.
Right now, we're blessed to have 3 Somali elected officials at the Capitol. Me, Sister Holden Hassan, who's in the State House, and Brother Mahmoud Noor. And we work very closely together, and we carry each other's bills.
And yes, Omar was born and bred in the US, but he refers to Somalia as home.
I understand that our Somali communities are all connected to each other here in Minnesota and back home, and I ask for your support. There's always been a link between our community here as well as back home, and I'm running to bridge that gap and unite all of us.
Let's bring in Sky News contributor Kosha Gator. Kosha, first New York and now Minneapolis. We've got 2 socialists here who are front runners to be mayors of major cities. Is this the future of the Democrats?
Sadly, I think it is, and for these great...
Yeah, bro. Should not be electing Muslim over socialists to Congress and to the Senate. Like, they goofing out in Minnesota. I'm trying to tell you, man. Y'all think like we just, spinning our wheels, doing these domestic politics segments for y'all, but we not. Like, it's an information initiative. Like, y'all black men got to get active and make sure that we're small and active as of the Trump administration, but like midterms and local elections, y'all gotta get these Keishas out of office. You gotta get the Keishas out of office. And you gotta get these non-FBAs out of office. We need FBA black men in there, you know what I'm saying? And those dudes we can hold accountable because they from the cloth. But nobody, whoever you're electing, nobody got any interest in redirecting resources back to you. All your resources, just individual tax dollars are being given to everyone but you. There's no programs for black men or nothing. We getting it all out the mud. And Irvin Reed be saying, get out my pocket. Yo, FBA black men need to be saying, get off my back. Because everybody's standing tall while they standing on our back and shoulders. So they need to get out our back and get out our pocket. And our job in that is to get, bro, when you elect someone in the office, you're putting them in power over you. So to some degree, that's y'all goddamn fault. Get them out.
Cities all across America and all around the world. New York, as you mentioned, London, Rotterdam, Calgary, and on the list goes. I think there are 2 important lessons here for those willing to learn them. One is the downstream effects of immigration and the myth of multiculturalism, the myth of the melting pot, the myth of what they call the magic dirt theory, that these countries have magical dirt and you can import vast quantities of people from very different countries, very different cultures, very different loyalties, plop them on the dirt, and somehow they magically assimilate. Doesn't happen.
Wow, I never heard that. The magical dirt. The magical dirt analogy. Yo, you know what's crazy? This is Australian news, and Australia is incredibly liberal and shit. But this Rita Panahi, who does this segment, trashing the liberals, and Gosha Gada, she's Indian too. They're pretty based. That's her who be doing her. She's a co-contributor. They be pretty much spot on. It's really crazy, and you got to think it too. It's crazy here too because I don't know what's going on here in the States with the Democratic Party, but they got this ongoing initiative to push these Indian candidates at the and the Democrat and push them at the the black demographic and being like, yo, this Indian guy, this Indian woman represents you. Yo, they're just playing in your face. It's crazy.
When there's critical mass of them, they will be more loyal to their ethnic enclaves, as you see here, and they're not representative of the vast majority of the populations that they're representing. The second, I think, is don't pander, because Jacob Fry, the incumbent mayor who's now being challenged, the election isn't until November, as you mentioned, he cried at the coffin. He was planning a trip to Somalia to try and forge ties, given
Yeah, Irvin Reed got it right here. He said we must recognize and solidify as our own voting bloc. Exactly. Delineate. Yo, this is the year of delineation, man, on all levels for the FBA black men, the freedmen, like that. Really, it's a lineage thing and a bloodline thing, bro. Like, we got a special genetic gene pool, just in terms of how everything transpired in this country, man. This is the year of delineation from non-FBAs in terms of policy and interest, because this is about resources. If resources being handed out, we got to be at the front of the line, and it's a delineation from Keisha's. You know what I'm saying? Keisha's been eating for free.
and that 10% of the city's population is now Somali and Jacob Fry. Where has that gotten you? Not very far.
Not very far at all. And the demographic changes there are obvious. Minnesota is home to the largest Somali population in the US. What's been the impact of that? Because we've seen that with other elected politicians. It's only 10%, you said, of the population, but it seems to be having a fairly dramatic impact.
Because I think it's at critical mass. So it's like 6% of London, for instance, is similar to the Muslim majority group. But when there's enough critical mass of them, they can really band together and outvote people maybe who are not as organized. We don't have mandatory voting in the US. So if you turn out the vote in these communities and have messaging that resonates to them and their specific interests, that can happen. It's the land of Ilhan Omar, the infamous congresswoman, also from Somalia as well. So she's a case in point. And now at the local mayoral level, we might very well see the same thing.
Now, played some of Hunter Biden's
you know who else is from Somalia? The brick lady.
Commentary about George Clooney, Team Obama, cracker cocaine. There was a wide-ranging interview he did. It was a wild ride. But he also had this to say recently about Nancy Pelosi and Pelosi's daughter, Alexandra.
It clearly made a decision. And when I say they, I mean the speaker. And, you know, I heard Alexandra Pelosi say something, call my like, put your big girl pants on to my mom or something. And I kind of feel like saying, who the do you think you are? I would never speak about your mom that way.
Yeah.
I would never speak about your father that way. I would never insult your parents that way.
Kosher, a lot of bad blood there, and we're learning just who was behind Joe Biden being knifed, being pushed out of running for re-election. And as we suspected, Nancy Pelosi had a bit to do with it.
100%. And it's interesting because you don't see it in Democrat circles. They really are very good at putting up a united front, unlike the Republicans who tend to be this circular firing squad often. So when you see these cracks and just everything that happened in those last 100 days, it is interesting. It was widely reported at the time that Jill Biden was very hurt by Pelosi specifically, and she had this phrase that we were friends for 50 years. I was very disappointed by it, that got picked up in various press outlets. And I think Hunter is just putting more color onto that. It was Pelosi, maybe Chuck Schumer, Obama, Clinton, possibly in the background. But, you know, Pelosi remains a power player. And when it looked like they might lose to Trump, which they went on to do anyway, the knives indeed came out.
They did. What a fascinating time, and how time flies, because it's now been a year since Kamala Harris began her campaign to be president, and she bizarrely celebrated this milestone, her failure, by posting this. She wrote, 1 year ago today.
Oh, I didn't hear about this. Let's see what... Kamala's a functional alcoholic, allegedly.
I began my campaign for President of the United States. Over the 107 days of our race, I had the opportunity and honor to travel our nation and meet with Americans, blah, 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 blah. And she goes on about whether you are attending a protest, calling your representatives, or building community, I want to say thank you. We are in this fight together. Kosha, she still obviously doesn't get it. She didn't have a single primary vote. She was installed into the role. She squandered $1.5 billion in around 15 weeks to lose every swing state, to lose the popular vote, and lose the Electoral College in a landslide.
And yet, I think she's a sign of our times and this whole concept of failing upwards. Like once you're in the club and you get to a certain level, there's nowhere else to go but up. I can see it now.
Yo, look at the irony of this. This is Kamala. She's self-professed East Indian. She is. And you got two other Indian women in Australia clowning her. Yo, look at the optics of this.
Book deal, like 107 days.
How about look at the optics of this? You got Keisha's 10 toes down by the numbers, over 80% behind Kamala, who's East Indian on record saying it, but cosplaying as a black woman. But you have actual East Indian women. Like, screw this broad.
Netflix special.
How I Did It, Netflix special, speaking circuit. She's already repped by CAA, the preeminent talent agency.
Well, she was in Australia not a couple of months ago
at
a real estate conference. How bizarre.
I think that was her warm-up for bigger things. But, she's going to make the rounds. I don't think she's going to be remembered in the history books. But for now, at least, she's going to monetize her short burst of fame. And she came precariously close to the nuclear codes, but thankfully did not get them.
No, thank God. I was worried that they were going to install her as president, make Biden step down. So she went into the election already being the incumbent and having that advantage. But thankfully, she wasn't the first female president.
That was a theory that they might do that.
I'm surprised they didn't, because I think they believed their own publicity in the end. They believed that those polls were accurate. Now, let's look at this post from the president of El Salvador, possibly the most popular leader in the world right
now. All right, bet. That's lefties losing it. Let me load up my next segment. Let me see what the chat's saying. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Failing up is right, amongst other things. Well, she still heals up Harris. And there was a part in that interview with Hunter. He was talking like he had knocked he ain't say it, but how he was talking, it was like he knocked Kamala off when they was all in the White House. You know what I'm saying? Because she liked to drink. I'm just saying. Let's do this one. Let's do the paperwork on Obama. Because they released some of these classified documents on Obama for this Russiagate conspiracy. So let's play some of this. Yeah, Trump not playing. He's releasing paperwork he's doing an internet style. He gonna have a paperwork party. This is Greg Kelly reports. This is Newsmax. This guy Greg Kelly's really good. It's like he does his opinion piece like on the news, but it's old school. Like for example, like a Rachel Maddow, a Joy Reid, they'll do opinion segments, but it's with the receipts are all out of context, or there are no receipts. It's just a rant or whatever. This guy makes very good sound arguments. They're even and down the middle. Of course, he leans right and conservative. And ironically, that's the way most of the country's leaning. As of late, and he does like how old school investigative journalism used to be when they would have these from the desk of the editor segments with with their homework and all their source materials there, so he has supporting materials to back up the argument that he's making. Yeah, I like this guy, Greg Callaghan. I just started watching some of his content, since I started sourcing news material.
Happens every election cycle, and they pretended that this had never happened before. And
Yo, you see that? These are from internal documents. So that's somebody in the FBI. That's not the director, because Comey ended up running with it. But from whoever's desk or department that is, they're like, yo, this dossier y'all shipping around, this is Fugazi. Don't put our seal on that shit.
wiping their hands clean. More on the historical aspect of this, though, all right? I think this is important. It's been overlooked. Yes, 2016, they hit us about the face and breast, chest, neck, and head that this stuff happens. The IC, the intelligence community, is prepared to produce an assessment per the president's request, Obama's request, that pulls together the information we have on the tools Moscow used and the actions it took to influence the 2016 election.
Yo. This is the paperwork, bro. Trump just released all this shit.
Interesting.
Yo, I was about to say that. You see how all that's been rephrased? This is Obama's statement to the paperwork being dropped. Because the context of this report that he just read, that this is the doctored report that Obama requested. The first report, intelligence report that came to him, was basically like, there's really no threat with Russia, like interfering with the elections, that'll be significant. And the report that the paperwork they're looking at now is the what do you call it? The report with a spin on it that was personally requested by Obama. And Trump just dropped the actual intelligence brief with some redactions, and this is Obama responded. Yeah. This is Trump sitting in the Oval Office. He calls out Obama by name. This is in the last 24 hours too.
There's more.
Said it's not a group, it's Obama. Yo, you heard him. It's time to go after people directly. Yeah, let's get some motion, man. That's crazy. Yo, Trump is not playing. When you say stuff sitting in the yeah. Well, oh wait, this might be the Roosevelt room. I'm not sure. Either way, yo, that's crazy. He's calling it out by name. He said Barack Hussein Obama. He used his full name. Wow, they're playing it back. Yeah, this is 2018. This is Obama actively pushing the Russia hoax that he orchestrated. This is bad, bro. That's crazy, because that's actually, he's saying that while he was actually doing it. You gotta give it to Obama, man. He's a smooth operator, or at least he was. He done lost his mojo. Yeah, I like this guy's reporting. Like I said, it's he's how the Irvin said it. He's like an older, like Bill O'Reilly in the early days, and like that style of news making was like real popular in the 90s, early 2000s, the 80s, where, like I said, it was opinion. But you see how he did it? He's got an opinion piece and everything, but he's got all the receipts to make his argument. And it's a well rationed and reasoned out argument. All right, let me load this segment up. All right, goddamn, we're at 55, just about at the 1 hour mark. Not bad. What I want to do? Let's do the GOP. Let's do the DEI. Yeah, like Tucker, early Tucker also. This one is, I wanted this one. Okay, Geo lawmaker vows to go after companies still clinging to DEI. Yo, they're trying to root this, get rid of this DEI all the way down to the root, and I'm here for it. Because we killed two birds with one stone. These feminist Beckys and Keishas. We get a twofer for that. Because it's proof that liberal white women have benefited the most from DEI policy.
It was an exclusive interview. Listen to what he had to say about their future nuclear program.
Does Iran plan to reconstitute its enrichment program? Is it continuing now, or has the damage been so severe that it is all stopped?
It is now stopped because, yes, damages are serious and severe. But obviously, we cannot give up our enrichment because it is an achievement of our own scientists. And now, more than that, it is a question of national pride. Our enrichment is so dear to us.
All right. Missouri Senator Eric Schmidt, a member of the Armed Services Committee, joins us now. Mr. Senator, if they won't give up on enrichment, where does that leave President Trump and the Israelis?
Well, they're going to have to give up on their dreams of enrichment. I know what he's saying there. They have no ability to do it. Their program was obliterated by those bunker busters on B-2s coming from Missouri and President Trump's decision to do it. Secretary Rubio has been very clear. If they want to have a civilian program, that'll have to be imported. So this highly enriched uranium that they were producing in Iran was obviously meant for nuclear weapons, and we can't let that happen again. So I think what you're going to see is probably an inspection regime that verifies anything that's happening in whatever nuclear program they might have, but they're not going to be able to enrich it themselves. It'll need to be imported, and they're just not in a strong leverage position after what happened about a month ago.
Do you think they're just putting on a brave face to save face, basically?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, look, those scientists that he's talking about are all dead. The generals are all dead. They have no program to speak of, thanks to President Trump. And that was, of course, in the core national interest of the United States. And by the way, many people in Washington wanted President Trump to get mired in, another forever conflict there. But President Trump's instincts were to immediately pivot to peace. And that's where they're at right now, this discussion about what that looks like. But they're not in a position to have their own, nuclear program as it was before.
There is talk that they've got another secret, undiscovered enrichment place somewhere or other, and there's supposed to be some intelligence on that. If that were the case, do you have any doubt that Trump would bomb it all over again?
I think what President Trump did is he understood the risk, how close they were, and took action. And I have no doubt that President Trump would use the same sort of American realist calculus. But at this point, those facilities were completely obliterated. I mean, you can tell even in his tone, he's recognizing that. And it's time for everybody to come to the table to have some sort of peace. Because I do think you could see now with that action from President Trump, you could see the conditions now are ripe for a marching on of the Abraham Accords and more normalization in the region. That'd be good for everybody.
It would. Senator, tomorrow, you will lead the House Judiciary Committee hearings on DEI, diversity, equity, inclusion. You say these policies are actually against the law. Can you explain how DEI is illegal?
Yeah, look, the Civil Rights Acts of the 1960s were meant to protect people from racial discrimination. And that's exactly what DEI is. It's just flowery language to cover up an effort to discriminate against additional group based on immutable characteristics. And so I think the public has been educated on this now to a large degree. So the hearing that I'm leading in the Senate Judiciary Committee tomorrow will be to further play this out and expose what this means. This is played out in our universities. This is also played out in corporate America. And I think with the new civil rights head at the Justice Department, she's very focused on this and potentially rooting this out in corporate America, in our universities, this racially discriminatory activity called DEI. And she'll be at the hearing tomorrow as well.
So if companies are sticking with DEI, you're going after them, correct?
Yeah, get ready, because what you're doing to appease the Black Lives Matter crowd in 2020 is illegal, and you need to stop.
Senator Eric Schmidt, thanks for joining us, sir. Always a pleasure.
Anytime.
See you again. Thank you, sir.
All right, bet. Let's do share screen. Here we go. Epstein files. Let's do the Epstein files.
Back to our top story now. The U.S. Deputy Attorney General Todd Blanche says he wants to meet in person with Ghislaine Maxwell. She is in federal prison for aiding Jeffrey Epstein, and the House Oversight Committee has just voted to subpoena Maxwell, compelling her to appear for a deposition. Joining us now is the former Deputy Assistant Attorney General John Yoo. John, good to be with you. President Trump was asked about this a moment ago when he was with the president of the Philippines in the Oval Office. This is what he said about Todd Blanche going to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell. Listen here.
Yeah, I don't know about it, but I think it's something that sounds appropriate to do. I didn't know that they were going to do it. I don't really follow that too much. It's sort of a witch hunt, just a continuation of the witch hunt.
What do you think of the whole idea? Because certainly you would think, as close as she was to Jeffrey Epstein, that she holds the keys to the kingdom.
John, good to be with you. This is a remarkable step. The Deputy Attorney General does not go around meeting with federal inmates or even meeting with people who might turn state's evidence in ongoing cases. So this is a sign of how serious the Trump administration thinks this is, how worried they are that trust in the administration is eroding, is that they got to call out the really big guns to get involved, like the Deputy Attorney General. On the other hand, you have to ask, how much does Ghislaine Maxwell know anymore? If she had all this information, the time she would have used it was when she was trying to reach some kind of plea bargain with the government to avoid the very jail time she's in now.
Facts. I said that before. That's one option, and the other one is she knows who's involved, and she knows the consequences are opening her mouth. Those are the two options.
Now, however, if there's anybody who might still be at the center of a conspiracy, who might have knowledge of all the people who went to Epstein's Island, anybody who might have been blackmailed.
I remember you said, did I hear about AOC? I saw a thumbnail saying that she might get kicked out the Democratic Party. That she might get kicked out of the party. That's the only thing I heard. No, why? What's up? Well, she did something new and goofy. I didn't see a running story about her on my news feeds today.
By Epstein, it would still be Maxwell. She's the only one, I think, who's left.
Yeah, I mean, again, she was literally attached to him at the hip. You would think that she would know just about everything that he was doing. Now, in terms of her cooperating with the Deputy Attorney General, Todd Blanche, do you think she would just say, oh, sure, let's talk? Or would she say, what are you going to give me in exchange for me talking?
Of course not, John. She is going to press for the best deal she can get. Now, she's already serving a sentence in federal prison, but the president can commute a sentence. The president could even give her a pardon. I don't think a pardon would be warranted, but the president could say, in exchange for your cooperation, I will order a reduction in your sentence so you could get out earlier than promised. But she would really need to come across with the goods. She's also got a case. Her case is actually still pending right now at the Supreme Court. I believe the Justice Department is opposing the Supreme Court taking her case. Her case is not the kind that the Supreme Court would take, but she might also ask that the Justice Department drop its opposition.
You said Marjorie Taylor Greene set up a trap vote, and AOC fell for it, and now the DNC wants her gone with the higher ups. Hey, bro, the way I said, I'm all for it. The Democratic Party is in free fall. We're approaching the midterms, and we got Hunter Biden high off cocaine or crack doing interviews. We got Crockett out here getting scalped. They're electing communist mayors in New York, communist Somalis in Minneapolis. Yo, the whole party's going to pop, man. I'm all for it. So, as much as we can help contribute to the demise of the Democratic Party, I'm all for it. I want to see them in the wilderness for like the next 20 years.
To her appeal to the Supreme Court, I can't see the Justice Department doing that, but she's going to try to trade whatever information she has for less time in jail.
Well, a grant of clemency certainly would be a controversial thing. Congressman Tim Burchett was talking earlier today about this idea that Pam Bondi has asked a federal judge in New York to unseal all of the documents and testimony before a grand jury. This is what he said.
I applaud the president and Attorney General Bondi for wanting to release the grand jury files. I believe that'll pretty much cover everything. But I would give everybody a caveat, or that's a big word, but a warning that just because somebody flew on a plane doesn't mean they're a deadgum pedophile.
Yeah, that's what we've been saying. And I still stick to the story. The one Epstein getting whacked happened under the Biden administration. They had all the files during the Biden administration. They was doing everything to get Trump up out of here. If there was something in the files about Trump, we would have known about it on it. That they would have used it to take him out. Yo, what up, Saul? He said, hey, former presidents. And what's this one? Pegger first ladies. Yo. Well, that's the thing, Irvin. You said you're shocked she's still breathing. But like as I'm saying, I think that's the whole part of it. I think there's two plays on this one. Either she knows, she knows stuff, but she doesn't. Epstein was a trained operative, so you know what I'm saying. This compartmentalization and stuff. What she knew was on a need-to-know basis. She doesn't really know the big players, and she's probably around as a party girl and stuff like that. Or she does know stuff. She's seen what happened to Epstein. She knows who's pulling strings, and she knows what the consequences are. Why she hasn't talked. And that's not rocket science.
It was Burchett, actually, who introduced the motion in the House to subpoena Ghislaine Maxwell. What do you think we could discover if the grand jury testimony and the files are released? Now, I should say that there's a bit of a caveat here from the judge involved in the case. I've got his order right here before me. This is Judge Richard Berman. We've heard his name before. He said Federal Rule of Criminal Procedure 6E codified the practice, quote, older than our nation itself, that proceedings before a grand jury shall generally remain secret. So if he releases all this stuff, it's going to be a pretty rare occasion.
And John, this would be momentous. It would also be, I think, unlikely to happen in full. The reason why we don't release grand jury testimony, the reason we don't rely raw law enforcement files is because they are filled with innuendo, rumor, gossip, massive amounts of things that are unverified, possibly untrue. And so when the government speaks, it usually only speaks in the four corners of the indictment, the documents it produces in court. And so one thing we don't want to do in all this is to besmirch people's reputations, destroy reputations, but also we want to make sure that people are willing to cooperate with the government in the future. Witnesses are not going to appear and not going to voluntarily testify if someday the government might release everything they said. So there's got to be a careful balance here between privacy, between the needs of the Justice Department in the future to carry out prosecutions, but also getting to the bottom of the truth about what's happened with this Epstein scandal.
Yeah, and the judge refers to that in the order as well. I expect anything that comes out could be heavily redacted, but we'll see. John, thanks for being with us. I always appreciate your expertise.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe.
All right, bet. We're at the 1 hour, 12-minute mark. Let's do one more thing that I might got on the docket. Let's do my boy Jesse Waters, and then we got enough time. Saul sent me an article on the 300,000 Keishas and counting losing their employment. So we'll read through a piece of that on the way out the door tonight. We at the 1 hour, 12-minute mark, and it's officially 1:22 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let's go.
Yesterday, Joe Biden sent Hunter on a search and destroy mission to 86, the party that cooed him. Hunter says Obama's cabal is filled with washed-up has-beens who cost his daddy re-election. And he struck a nerve because the Chicago boys came out firing at the big guy and the little guy.
It's 3 hours of Hunter playing the victim, and he like rages at us and he rages at Axelrod and Clooney.
You were a liability.
Yeah, these guys are all Obama surrogates. And this is the Save America podcast. This is one of these Democratic shilling podcasts. But yeah, and these are part of the Obama cabal.
Should be ashamed of the ways in which you made your father's political life worse. And like the idea that we're going to listen to you now, like give me a break.
These Obama guys covered up for Hunter for 4 years, covered up the laptop, said there was no crime there, said he was just an addict who loved his daddy. And now they call him a sleazy liability. And now they're also like, also, your dad was sleepy.
Hunter's on a tour right now. And just going forward, I think the lesson to learn is because hopefully we're not going to have an 80-something-year-old geriatric candidate again.
There's some other weird he said he blames the debate on the Biden staff, saying they gave him Ambien on his foreign trip. But like Biden got back from the G7 on June 14th. The debate was June 27th.
A lot
of
Ambien.
If Ambien was the issue, like I don't think it's Ambien, it's age.
Joe was a lucky.
Yeah, what's up with all the Democratic men cursing now? Is that like their version of being tough guys? F-bomb's not going to save you, buddy.
Skeleton who stumbled into the White House with a sack full of COVID mail-in ballots. And the left was pumped because they could just auto-pen their wish list into law during nap time. But auto-pen Jr.'s on the warpath, and he's calling the Obama boys grifters, still dining out on the Messiah's legacy. Then the Obama bros went low, and I mean real low. They compared Hunter to the monster himself.
It's just utter lack of self-awareness.
It's the shamelessness that really gets you in the end.
Well, I saw one quote. He said, we all talk about the incredible popularity of Barack Obama. Barack Obama never got more than 69 million votes. My dad got 81 million votes. Like, dude, now you sound like Donald Trump.
George Clooney's not an actor. The low
Dang, there you go again. They got low testosterone. They got low testosterone voices. Yo, Saul, you want the link? Hell yeah, come on. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. We got a ball game now. Yeah, this is you know how the Democrats roll out talking points and roll out new stuff. Somebody sent around the F-bomb memo. Like what's really good, man? That's crazy. Yo, Saul, what up, Playboy?
Man, I'm fresh out of the gym with a hot dose of testosterone, which they couldn't even, get a bit of in their lifetime with just my night of just working out. Man, I don't know what's with the sort of gynomastia having, adolescent voice, act that they're like putting on, man. Like, they're trying too hard. And I guess what's great about what we've done is we've successfully revealed the fact that the Democratic Party is the establishment. Never at any time in history have we been able to do this. And now people are actually seeing them for who they are. They're astroturfing. This is another astroturf.
No, I agree completely. What Urban Reese said in the chat, yeah, they're soy tough, and that's what I'm saying is like how those Democratic talking points go out, and then you see everyone from people in Congress to the mainstream media talking heads. They're all using the same talking point. It's a constitutional crisis. So that's what I'm saying. Somebody sent out the F-bomb memo. because everybody's dropping the F-bomb everywhere.
You're starting to see astroturfing in real time, and it's good that I'm giving you all bricks, bats, stones, and chains or whatever, so we could beat them over the head as we see them try to pivot. At the end of the day, you see them like really really trying to craft out something like it's really natural conversation. They sit up here with, what did they say at? Geriatric candidate, right? But 1 minute you're all inclusive, next minute you're not. Make it make sense. Shouldn't that sort of language be alarming for their Social Security and Medicare recipients and stuff like that? Give me a fucking break.
No, I agree with you. But I said that goes back to the Democratic policy of pretty much talking down to their audience, and under the impression that they can just talk to them any type of way. Basically, they can reinterpret reality to them any way they want, as if receipts don't count or anything else. Like, I think in the Democratic Party overall, with regard to policy or anything else, I've said this, they have no interest. Because I was initially under the impression, like, okay, they just got bad strategists. They got these policy initiatives they're trying to do, or agenda, and like they haven't figured out how to market it. Now I realize that they don't care at all.
Well, it's not that they don't. It's not that they don't care, right? The greatest. Well, my interpretation. My interpretation. My bad. But I would posit that they're a party of reactive identity based on power, right? Okay? They don't care how they do it. They could say something totally crazy or outlandish. As long as they're back in power, that's what matters to them. Because they're not even consistent with their own value system, right? So when you see like the Republicans, with cutting spending, when you see the Republicans as far as doubling down on tradition, the Republicans with gun rights, entrepreneurship, and being self-made, they've been fairly consistent with their policy, their ideology, so forth, so forth. Now, all of a sudden, you got the Democratic Party who are down bad so much that they're trying to sound like Republicans in one sentence. Another sentence, you got somebody else sounding like a commie. You got somebody else promoting a homocracy. You know what I mean? Like, they really don't have an identity. They're trying to find and catch what is cool, and it's just not working for them. It's just not.
No, I agree. I think the statement I was making is actually in conjunction with what you just said, in terms of me. I think we've posited a general argument like Trump ran on common sense, the economy, and he won on these things. The border security, kitchen table interests, concerns, overwhelming sense of putting America first with regard to resources, traditional common sense policy. Once again, reminiscent of really centrist democratic policies of old. So I think we've been coming at it, and pundits alike, that the Democrats, they don't have any policy that's comparable or that appeals to the working and middle class, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And I think we've been working under the assumption that it's an oversight and that they're so heavy. And I'm starting to realize now that it's not, especially after this Obama interview with Michelle, that it's not an oversight. It's deliberate. It's We have an agenda. We have a policy. We're not changing it. We're not making any adjustments, and we're going to keep repackaging it to you and giving it to you. We're going to rephrase it. We're gonna put lipstick on a pig, give it to you. But we have no intention of changing it, and you guys are going to take it. You're going to like it whether you like it or not. Women and rainbow policies, and you straight men, whether you like it or not, one way or another, you guys are going to acquiesce. I think that's their real position.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. You got some people who are trying to uh uh moderate that. I agree with you with that. I mean, it sounds good and stuff like that, but when it comes down to it, don't think that they won't do the bait and switch. You're absolutely right about that. I mean, nobody makes this sort of 180 and months. It just doesn't happen like that. They are who they are. You know, it's come crashing down their ivory tower and everything else. Like you said before, when you ask a Democrat about their policies outside of what you just said, right? Which was rainbow stuff, women's stuff, immigrant stuff, and being anti-Trump, they don't have nothing. Largely, their identity now is anything that Trumps do, they're the opposite of. Even if it was something that you know, it would be something that Democratic Party would classically suggest or recommend that you would think that may come from their side of the aisle, like the no taxes on tips. Oh, you know how they was trying to steal that idea, but that's something that you would see them more than likely say, hey, you understand what I mean, right?
No, I agree.
And just like the whole no taxes on Social Security, right? But even things that would even help their base, they're not even standing behind. So I mean, like I said before, this is Oregon style offense, no huddle. Keep it up tempo with the speed, with the policy, and we keep at it with them. They can try to keep up, but they don't have enough wind or even weaponry to even keep up. They just don't. So they try it that way. We just keep doubling down, and hopefully by the time 2028 comes along, they won't exist anymore, and more than likely there may be an emergence of some other spin-offs with some splinters, or even the emergence of a different party altogether, because this is crazy.
No, I agree. It's like Tito says. Democrats, aka Dixiecrats, is the oldest, first and the oldest party in the United States, and they're the party of slavery. And I'm just on some GP on the off a GP off that. Let's put him in the coffin. But bang, there you go. Irvin Reed caught the gist of what I was saying. He said their position and their policy is to heterosexual men, you're a bottom. Exactly. Exactly. That's the Democratic policy. Like I said, I don't think any of this. I don't think that. I mean, now, granted, they're pollsters and all that. They call it wrong, and they're steeped in their delusion. But like this agenda policy is what it, and I think that is primarily because, you see the old guard Democrats being pushed out. I think you see that persistent policy push. Agenda push and repackaging of and the consistent repackaging, redistribution, repackaging is because that the power base has changed. It is a liberal white woman's party. That's why they're so in support of DEI, but they got the Keishas out in front. Why? Because the liberal Karens have been able to get into power under the DEI cloak, while having the Keishas be the face of it, and the Rainbow and Skittle army has got everything that they wanted. So no, the policy's not changing. So they're just going to keep.
No, I agree. I'm looking at Urban Reed's comments saying that they're probably gonna hijack or go into the Green Party. There's probably some truth to that, and I can see a little bit of them going over to Democratic Socialists. What do you think?
No, I agree. I think they're going to try and do the coalition thing that yeah, and people actually I'm glad you said that. People overlook the enormous political coup that Trump pulled off during this last election. He absorbed that independent party, a third party, into the Republican Party. That's how you get Tulsi Gabbard and JFK. He absorbed the opposition party into the Republican Party. That is a masterful one. Where's the last historical precedent for that? And then on top of that, win. And then two, how seamlessly he did it, and then just incorporated them into his cabinet by giving them cabinet positions. And then, like I said, this transition and moving forward, and they're operating smoothly and in cohesion. Like the mere political agility to do that in and of itself is genius in and of itself. And I dare you to find the political precedent, other than Lincoln or something like that. I'm saying post Civil War. I would run that by Tito, but that's what I'm saying. That in and of itself is a level of political acumen that we haven't seen in this lifetime.
100%. I agree with the fact that he's a master negotiator. Let's find some common ground, right? What do we believe in? What can we get done? You know what I mean? Right?
Oh no, my bad. I was trying to pivot. I was making that point to pivot to the point you were saying that because you asked me the direct question about. Yeah, I think that the Democrats are going to do what they always did. They're going to try and copy Trump's success. So I agree with you and Irvin. I was making a point that Trump's created the precedent. I think that they're going to try if say they do dissolve, say we succeed in killing the Dixiecrats and send them into the wilderness for the next 15, 20 years. They're going to try and reconstitute themselves and form some type of try and absorb factions of the Green Party and other, so they can reconstitute themselves with a bigger base and a new a policy platform that may be more appealing to the broad general American populace. So that's the answer to your question. Hello?
Yeah, 100%. Especially addressing the needs of young men and boys, and more than likely, something with some sort of family law on a federal level, some sort of packaging with that. You know.
No, I agree. Urban Reed says it right here. He says the Green Party will boost them without having to build from scratch. No, that's a brilliant observation. That this and the previous one, Urban. Like, yeah, because I've already stated my goal is for us to collectively, just off GP, because they are the party that Dixie. My personal opinion, if we really run back through legislation, crime bill comes from their party, everything. Like they are this Democrat is the natural enemy of the FBA black man.
Exactly.
Like just like if we just data points, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. The giblet stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Population control. Jail population control. Obviously feminism, population control, right? Not allowing us to protect ourselves with self-defense and having those power tools, population control. So I mean DEI. You know what I mean? So yes, hey, I feel like this. Good neighbors make good fences. You don't want to bother me, I don't want to bother you. Let's let that be that. Let big government get up out my life. You know what I mean? Right? We can't complain about the government and at the same time want to rely on the government too. Which one is it?
No, I'm with you 100% on that. 100%. What you what? All right, hold on, wait. It's 1:33. Let's no, stay on the jack with me for a minute. So I'm gonna play like a half more of this Jesse Waters segment, and then I seen Quiet Storm in the chat. Yo, Storm, I'm gonna read your congressional golden act on crypto link you sent me. I'm gonna screen share it and read through it, and then I'm gonna read your John Saul, the 300K Keisha's losing their jobs. You're gonna read through that article and call it a night.
Excellent.
All right.
Jake Tower. It's amazing to watch people become the thing that they claim to be the savior from.
After they lost in a landslide, the best and brightest Democrat minds said they needed their own Trump. Then Hunter busts back onto the scene and starts laying the wood to the establishment like Trump did in 2016. And they all circled the wagons around the establishment like Barack Obama was Jeb Bush. And now the whole party's running for cover.
So these comments yesterday by Hunter Biden going after a wide swath of people in the Democratic Party, are those productive at the moment?
I missed it. I'm not tuned in to Hunter's ravings.
Senator, do you have any reaction to the Hunter Biden clips yesterday?
No, I haven't. I don't pay attention to what Hunter Biden says.
No, I didn't see anything.
I understand the personal pain that Hunter Biden is experiencing on all sorts of fronts. But I don't think it's constructive right now to engage in this backward-looking, finger-pointing.
Well, ignoring the problem isn't going to make it go away. There's a growing insurgency on the left. You got the bitter Biden faction and the squad and their commie Mondami wing. There's a civil war brewing. And
what Jesse's talking about right now, this is the same argument Tito made like 2 weeks after Trump won.
Every Democrat's getting drafted, whether they like it or not. No one is safe. AOC's coming for Chuck Schumer, and she's got backup in the House.
I think that Chuck Schumer was a very skilled legislator under Biden to pass legislation, but that's not what the times call for. Right now, the times call for someone who's going to stand up to Donald Trump.
Democrats are losing so much blood from all this backstabbing that they're sitting on death's door, weak, woke, and broke. Look at that. The DNC can't even raise money anymore. Kamala wasted $1.5 billion in 4 months. But just like any problem the Democrats see, their only solution is to just throw more money at it. Fang Fang's Beijing fling, who said, "I'm not a real man," is a Kamala simp. He says Harris would have won.
Hold it right there. I'll be telling y'all, man. A handful of Fox personalities were the first to get it. And I'm telling you, they watch Manosphere content. It was Greg Gutfeld, who, and I told you, he's the biggest guy on late night. He was already beating Colbert. So it was, when I was telling you guys, it was a big deal that he actually used the word Manosphere, and he had 2 full different segments on the Manosphere. Up to date. Colbert's out. Jesse Waters is prime time 5 o'clock. That's why it's prime time with Jesse Waters. It's a big deal. A lot of millions and millions of viewers. You see what the word he used? Simp. Jesse was one of the first to actually start using our lingo. And if you even look at the titles of stuff that they post on his when they do his segments on social media and stuff like that, even with his jump cuts, whoever his producers are, they watch how we make content in the Manosphere and they're mimicking it.
If we'd just gotten to know her.
Most people say that the biggest mistake that Kamala Harris made was saying that she wouldn't do anything different than Joe Biden when she went on The View. I don't think that was the biggest mistake. And
this is the guy that was sleeping with the Chinese spy, and he was head of the intelligence committee.
Candidates, trip up all the time. I think the mistake was that there were many days that would pass before she did another major interview.
Her handlers hit her because she was a cackling gaffe machine. And the more voters saw, the less they liked her. But some dead enders in Hollywood say America missed out on Mrs. Lincoln.
I still think about Kamala and how I think she would have been a good choice. I don't care what they say, because she would have done what Lincoln did. Liz Cheney would have been secretary.
These people have got to be getting paid to say this shit. Like, these are insane comments. I mean, that he's making he's got to be getting paid to say this. And if he believes that these actors are whacked out of their mind, and we should not be taking any sort of advice. Stick to acting in the movies, because these people are idiots. Well, we're common everyday people, and we know we have better political opinions than these people.
Secretary of State.
Team of rivals.
Yeah, team of rivals.
While Kamala's California dreaming, the party's begging Barack to get off of his Adirondack chair and start a revolution.
I think if we are in a moment of crisis and you've ever led this country, you should still care about this country enough to be out there. I've had this crazy thought that if every time Donald Trump did something crazy or said something crazy.
MSNBC. This is why I keep telling you, look, it's black Keishas, never a black man in sight. Having political conversations. What's your opinion on policy? And whenever there is a black man, he's a backdooria.
Barack Obama should have like a press conference or something. If you care about this country, and if you're a president, I assume you do, you should, be doing a little bit more if you are calling on others.
And this is what I'd be saying too. She's got a tether face. She's got a tether face. So they got females, no men, and then what they actually do have, and the Keishas that they do have aren't even FBA Keishas, telling us about the political direction we should be going and doing in our country. You see what I'm saying? This is subterfuge and sabotage.
Obama told Democrats to get tough, and Democrats are like, what about you, coach? We've seen you once in 6 months, and it was on your wife's podcast telling little boys they need gay mentors. And when the Clinton vets say it's getting embarrassing, they would know. Quote, constipated, leaderless, confused, a cracked out clown car, divided. These are the words I hear my fellow Democrats using to describe our party as of late. The truth is, they're not wrong. The Democratic Party is in shambles. What have Democrats been doing for the last 6 months besides singing, dancing, firebombing Teslas, and pretending to care about Jeffrey Epstein? They've spent more time talking about Stephen Colbert than the cost of living and healthcare. If Trump's really a dictator and destroying democracy, why are Democrats having margaritas with illegals?
That's just my lack of faith in the Democrats. You know what I mean? I just don't see them having the team or the message to win in the midterms. I think we've seen and realized that Trump being bad is not good enough. Mm-hmm. Trump being a liar is not good enough. You got to offer something better. That's it.
Liberals have become the pariah that they tried to convince you Trump was. And now we're witnessing a therapy session by showbiz millionaires who claim they're the real victims.
The shows that you now seek to cancel, censor, and control, a not insignificant portion of that $8 billion value came from those shows. Go yourself!
Yo. So me and you talked about this, and we've talked about this on a Sunday show. Bro, it didn't take, we still ain't 200 days in. I think Quiet Storm took the tally like a couple weeks ago. We were at like 166. These mainstream media was canceling everybody, shutting everything down. Now all of a sudden, Joy Reid done lost her job since he been there. Rachel Maddow done took a pay cut. All of these mainstream media companies are paying Trump millions of dollars. Colbert just lost his gig. They might cancel the. Yo, he's decimating everything, bro.
Bro, as I've said before, starting with what's the name of that chick that mentioned Kevin Samuels and Tariq Nasheed?
Timothy Cross. Tiffany Cross.
Tizzy Cross, right? Tizzy
Mhm.
Cross. Look, I want y'all to understand this as an audience, okay? And I want y'all to understand the power of the black male fist as it's clenching and actually, crushing upon all of our political enemies, okay? Right? They've awakened a sleeping giant. If you've noticed, those in the past maybe 2.5 years or so, was it Tiffany Cross? Would you say about 2.5 years?
Yeah,
Right?
she was the first. She was the first to get it, along with Stacey Abrams.
Okay. When you mention the boogeyman, what is starting to happen? What is starting to happen? We're starting to raise enough hell on the internet that we're becoming a problem. Don't you forget that we're naturally the alpha male, and men across the world defer to us. We add the cool factor, we add the swag factor. They're looking for our permission. They've looked for our permission, and we gave the green light, and now all of this shit has come crashing down. We have to keep it up. We have to, right? I know people are would you say, a little bit content. I know a little a little tired and weary, and it's cool, right? But now more than ever, for the midterms, in order to kind of clinch this, bro, it'll be a wrap. It'll be a wrap, because we've witnessed all of the sort of damage of feminism, and how we've been set back as young men years because of the BS. Y'all remember those Maury shows? We're always wrong, right? Even when we were right. Y'all remember the Oprah? Y'all remember all the sort of demonization you seen in college when somebody comes home from a holiday, right? Now, more than ever, don't argue with these motherfuckers out here. Don't engage with them. Just focus your time and your energy on contacting your congressman and doing what you need to do politically. Because once you know your enemy's weakness, you keep poking at it. You keep poking at it. Notice, anytime the boogeymen, us, have been mentioned, what happens? We're starting to have that power to dish out. Don't you forget it. That's where I land my plane.
All right, bet. Hey guys, I just dropped the link in the chat, and I posted this on the community tab, I believe earlier this week. Storm has sent this to me last week, but I've been waiting for a minute to go over it real quickly on the news desk. This is S1582, the Genius Act, Congress.com. So the sponsor was Senator Haggerty, Republican from Tennessee. And I'm just going to read through a piece of it, because this is about crypto and stablecoin. A lot of our guys in the space are invested in crypto, trading crypto, holding it long term. So let's just do a little brief summary, because this is all under Trump administration. This bill establishes a regulatory framework for payment stable coins, digital assets, which an issuer must redeem for a fixed value. Hold on for a second. Let me see. Can I zoom this in? Yeah. Under the bill, only permitted issuers may issue a payment stable coins for use by U.S. persons, subject to certain exceptions and safe harbors. Permitted issuers must be a subsidiary of a insured depository institution, a federal qualified non-bank payment stablecoin issuer, or a state qualified payment stablecoin issuer. Permitted issuers must be regulated by the appropriate federal or state regulator. Permitted issuers may choose federal or state regulation. However, state regulation is limited to those with a stablecoin issuance of $10 billion or less. Let's see. And let's jump to the end. The bill allows foreign issuers of stablecoins to offer, sell, or make available in the United States stablecoins using digital asset service providers subject to requirements, including a determination by the Department of Treasury that they are subject to comparable foreign regulations. Part of that is important because I know a lot of you guys, if you're buying certain coins issued on certain exchanges, they're not available to you because you're in the U.S. So you got to use a VPN, the regular graphic user interface on what sometimes apps that you're using or websites to purchase. You get blocked to purchase and stuff like that. So Trump is making basically the availability of stable coins and other crypto assets to be freely available in the U.S. and traded. Basically, this bill's cutting down a lot of the regulation on stable coins, Bitcoin, and other digital cryptocurrencies. Because as you know, prior to we had all this SEC interference, and that's also how Ripple /XRP, because it's the same protocols from the same company, just XRP is a little lighter and faster. That's how XRP ended up in litigation and tied up in court. And you couldn't do anything with your XRP for quite some time. So shout out to Storm for that. Trump is the cryptocurrency president. And on that note,
we got more pricing games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricing games coming up in the second half of the show. Don't go away, folks. We got more pricing games coming up.
all right, bet. Let's do this last article. We got to clear this up in 7 minutes to be under the 2-minute mark. But we'll just read a piece of this. It's not very long or extensive. Oh yeah, that's the no-brainer. Here you go. Yeah, exactly. Quiet Storm says, remove all your coins off a central server. Yeah, and get them to a cold wallet. Get them to a cold wallet, baby. Off your computer, all that some stuff happens. A lot of guys are losing stuff with machines and whatnot. Exchanges going down, and like your $400 or $500 that you had in these X amount of coins, man, that shit set. Next 5-10 years, man, certain shit might be worth hundreds of thousands of dollars. That's how the Bitcoin was. I mean, I was buying Bitcoin for 25 for like a dollar and shit, and like 20 cents. You know what I'm saying? A lot of it we was mining for free. Like we thought we was through the moon when that shit went to $1,000. Everybody cashed out, and everybody cashed out. Do you know what I'm saying? Because we got it for nothing. Now that shit's at like 65K. You understand what I mean? All right, so let's go through a bit of this article. That's so weird. I can't zoom this in with this screen share. View tab. Okay. Let's just read some of this, and then I'll get you to do some color commentary, Saul, and we'll get up out of here. Saul sent me this article. And I got it on the screen. Let me see if I can zoom it in a little bit for you guys. But either way, I'm going to read it anyway. It says 300,000 black women have left the labor force in 3 months. It's not a coincidence. For decades, the public sector has been a lifeline for black women. Yo, this is MSNBC. They're actually saying the quiet part out loud. For decades, the public sector has been a lifeline for black women shut out of economic opportunity. It's no surprise that Trump's federal downsizing targeted them first. That's false, explains gender economist Katika Roy. What the hell is a bro? These aren't even real degrees. What the fuck is a gender economist? That's an economist who couldn't do the hard math. By Katika Roy. In just 3 months, nearly 300,000 black women left the U.S. labor force. The labor force participation rate has now dropped below that of Latinas for the first time in over a year, and more than 518,000 black women still haven't returned to the labor force since the pandemic began, leaving their real unemployment rate just above 10%. So all these chicks on social media is cap. This isn't a coincidence. It's the result of federal policy choices, most immediately sweeping job cuts across the public sector agencies where black women have long held the strongest foothold in middle-class employment, meaning that they were subsidized by the government. Just like the tethers, all the accomplishments and employment they're touting, they're not doing it on their own. They got help. Agencies like the Department of Education, Department of Health and Human Services, have been seen dramatic reductions in staff, up to 50% in some cases. These are not just institutional losses. They represent the disappearance of stable, often well-paying jobs that this is the quiet part, that have historically provided economic security for black women and the families they support. Did you hear that sentence? Let me reread that sentence.
And the families they support.
You heard what I heard.
What?
You heard what I heard. This is the quiet part out loud. These are, I'm going to reread that sentence. These are not just institutional losses. They represent the disappearance of stable, often well-paying jobs that have, the key word here is, ladies and gentlemen, is historically economic security for black women and the families they support. That indicates an ongoing, systematic incorporating them into the Keisha industrial complex so that they can support the families without the men as intended. Ain't that, if that ain't the quiet part out loud?
You know what I like to call it? Educated welfare.
Educated welfare.
That's all it is. Educated welfare. Right? You know, I'm sure the Maryland suburbs and Atlanta ain't popping. Them happy hours is real dry right about now. But these quote unquote boss bitches are entrepreneurial, and you know they got all these grants, and you know there's a black girl magic and all this other stuff. Go out and fucking get it.
Yo. This quiet store said, listen, American people, what is a woman? Gender economist. Well, that can be a variety of things. American people, get out now. That's hilarious. Wow. All right, guys, we at the 1 hour 56-minute mark. I dropped the link to that article in the chat, and I'm going to repost it on the community tab. Saul, you want to just give the closing comments on that article? We can get up out of here.
Hey, well, good news, gentlemen. That's up another 125,000. Because remember, the initial reports were, what was it, 175?
Yeah, like 150, 175.
Yeah, looks like we've almost doubled that. So let's keep the ball rolling. I've been having some hey big head texts, and I've just been meeting them with indifference. Actually, during the course of the show, I had one, and I just, left it on red.
Hey, shout out to AC. Hashtag no reach back, man. Hashtag and shout out to AC for this, because he did predict it. He did predict the reach back, and bro, social media is really being flooded with this, with all these Keishas, cosplaying, going at other Keishas. Y'all need to show black men some more respect. And it's a lot of praising black men content on TikTok as of late. The reach back is real, bro.
Oh, did you see that HBCU ode to black men video? That's been
No,
going around. Yeah.
no, I could
and,
believe
and,
it.
and you can see the little different, comments and captions that they're doing and stuff like that. It doesn't even have it doesn't even sound convincing. You would have a straight up one of those bull ring wearing bull stragglers, right? Thank you for your resilience, black man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Like, thanks for being a utility. All right, guys, we're at the 1 hour 58-minute mark. That's a wrap. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Thanks for coming hanging out with me in the chat, man. Extra thanks to Saul for popping up on the panel, man. It's nice. Yeah, we got a good thing going with this news desk, man. I'm gonna see you guys tomorrow. Good night and good luck.
In a shocking development, the federal government says being broke is allowed, but if you're broke and glowing, you are officially now a suspect.
You can't be glowing more than your financial status. Look your problem.
What the fuck?